adjuster for the inlet for number 1. So 14 millimeter on this nut. Okay, it's loose. Okay, that's good. And then 0.12 millimeter. Now, it's down in here, not here. You want to measure. So it's a little tight to get in there. Feeler in there. Not as easy to do as the... Okay, there we go. Now it's in there. Okay, now it just moves it. It just, there's no rubbing whatsoever. Okay, now it's starting to get a little resistance. And I feel a little bit. Oh, okay. Now it's showing some. Okay, now I can barely move that. I can move it nicely back and forth, so I think that's okay. So now, let's lock this thing in place. Okay, now let's check it again. Oh yeah, okay, that's good. It's not flopping around like it was before. Okay, so that one's done. I'm going to rotate it again and we'll do this exhaust right here. I want to get this one up, so we'll do the exhaust. And here it comes. Okay, and one more little nudge. That looks good. Now the exhaust is the same sort of way, but its adjustment is 0.2. So let's get this thing loose. See if this, I don't think that's going to fit. Let's see if this right here will. Now I have a bent one that I use on the diesel, but let's see if I can get by with these. Okay, that's going to... Okay, got that loose. Okay, set this over here and I'll just tighten this, adjust this one, and it's just kind of like that all the way down. Exhaust, and then I'll have number 1 done. And I'll move to number 2, 3, 4. Other people have different methods, but I'm going to stick to this one for now. All right, I've done inlet, exhaust, inlet, now I'm doing this exhaust, and all of them have been extremely loose, like I thought they might because of all the clatter. Let me show you. So here's the 0.2 feeler for this exhaust. Look at that. It just, there's just no wonder this thing was clattering around. All right, if there's a mistake, I guess it's better to have them too loose than too tight. So let's go ahead and do that one. See the cam straight up, so it's ready to go. I wanted you to see this one too. They're all like this. This is the inlet valve, and I haven't touched it. Look at how it's in the adjustable position, but look how loose that is. And No wonder this engine was rattling. All these lobes on the cam look really good. So go ahead and adjust this inlet. And then this one right here, this exhaust, I'm going to go ahead and turn this lobe up. Although I think it's okay like that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it up and do that one. So I'll do this one and then this one. And you know, we're halfway done. All 12 valves are adjusted. I tell you what, the major problem with that was access. But I was able to do it, and they're all adjusted correctly. And no wonder the engine was rattling. I'm looking forward to starting it and see how it sounds. Now, the next step is to come over here. I've already cleaned off the top of this valve cover. And let's put the new valve cover gasket on it. Remember, I was wondering about the position of this distributor relative to this #1 spark plug right here. So let me just show you what I found. Okay, here's your cam. Here's your washer. Let me come around to the other side so you can see. Okay, you can see the cam marks are lined up. These lobes are in top dead center for #1 cylinder. See, this rotor is pointing to #1 cylinder right here. And look down there, I've cleaned up that flywheel. And you can see that's 0 or top dead center on the flywheel marked, and everything's lines up really well. So no chain stretch or anything like that. And so I'll just have to see if I can fit that in. I don't know why they put the funky arrangement that they did on here, but I've gone ahead and fixed. Let me show you what I fixed. So if you remember in the previous scenes, this #1 spark plug had a real funky sort of arrangement here where two things have been glued together to make that turn. Well, I've gone ahead and fixed it. I'll show you what I fixed it with. Here's the I've put in a correct heat shield for the spark plug. So that's a new one. And these are the old ones, which kind of makes me want to replace the entire wire set to get them all looking the same, but maybe I'll do that later. But everything's lined up all right. I was afraid maybe this was going to be way out of phase, but it's not. And so there you go. And for the time being, I am just going to keep the points intact on this car, and then get to know it. And then if I want to later on, like I have some of my others, I can change them over to Portronics. Here is a new valve cover gasket. Victor Reitz, made in Germany, best I can tell. And let's open this thing up and fit it. Notice that the inside of this valve cover, right up here especially, shows no evidence of chain slap, which is very good. Here's what it looks like inside there. Okay, time for a new valve cover gasket. Okay, let's just start down here and just kind of push this rascal on. Boy, so far a nice fit. Go here on this end. Okay, make the corner. Oh wow, what a nice fit. Okay, another beautiful part. It fits like a glove. Very nice. Okay, back on the car. But before we do, let's clean up these valve cover gasket bolts. All right, they're ready to go back on the car. Very nice. Look at that. Fits like a glove. Okay. Get these bolts down on these towers. Find the hole there. Yeah, there it is on that one. And then this one. And yeah, lining up nicely. Now remember, these are not on tight at all. They don't need to be. $13mm again. I remember it was just like maybe 10 foot-pounds. Feeling about right. Get them all about the same tightness. Okay. One more little check. Feels good. Yep. Okay. This is something I wanted to try. Is a trick I learned from John Wright from Mercedes Maintenance, and using oxalic acid to clean up these aluminum pieces and these metal pieces. And so you remember how this is how it was. This is number 3, and this is number 2 spark plug holder. And I think there's a big difference. At least it's worth doing. I didn't do this, and here I do this with oxalic acid. So I think I'll go ahead and clean up this one. It's fairly straightforward. Oxalic acid mixed up with water in the spray bottle. And and rather than what he was doing and what I did on my, not this valve cover, but the one on one of my 108s, you spray it with water and you spray this and let it just kind of sit. So, but because I'm doing this in the car, because it is dealing with spark plugs, I'm not spraying them with water. I'm spraying them directly with the oxalic acid. And I'm just going to let it sit there and soak, and and then I'll go at it with this Scotch-Brite pad. And this one I did once as sort of a test. I'm going to do that again and do it better and do this one. I'm going to do all of them that way as I put them back in. Here's one I've already done, so let me just kind of hit it with the Scotch-Brite again. Kind of rub it like this. I'm not trying to get it polished, but just back to not looking so corroded and grungy. It just gets off the oxidation off the surface here. Just take a cloth now. This is part of the cleaning process too, obviously. Yes, sirree. She's alive. Oh, I adjusted the idle on it, and it settled down. Okay, it's a little noisier than my M127 and the old M130, but it's not rocking and rolling. Let's go back here to the exhaust. Nice sound. It's not skipping, huffing, or puffing. Might be running a little rich, but I can deal with that. Oh, success!